Hello everyone, and welcome to my After Effects tutorial. Here is the video we're going to be making today. Alright, so I originally posted this as an After Effects practice for the Rotobrush tool, but as it turns out that I'm a total idiot and I didn't need the Rotobrush tool at all. It's perfectly doable with the masking tool. And so for this project, we will need a couple of things. First of all, we need raw footage in full HD, or rather, I guess you can pull it off in SD as well, but with DSLRs these days, that's what all the cool kids have. Another thing is you need After Effects. I want to say CS5, but as it turns out, you don't need that at all. So here we have the raw footage, and I do some stupid stuff in the front, so let's just cut that out. Oh, I'll do a little dance. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to go to the first spot where you want to separate your subject. So let's say here, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it. It would be Control D on a PC. It should be Command D on a Mac. And we're going to go in and we're going to use the pen tool to cut out the parts that you want to separate. So that's the wrong tool. Okay. So here's the pen tool. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just gonna make a really rough outline. And hopefully my OCD doesn't kick me in the shin. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Such stupid. Oh, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to be cutting. Well, my multitasking sucks. I can't even tell an interesting story while doing this. Anyway, okay, so what we should have now is a nice cutout of the part that you want to freeze. And for the rest of the video, you do not want this part to move. So we're going to right-click on the video, time, freeze frame. And so this is going to stay static. And the next thing is that you do not want it to come into frame in the beginning, or else that'd be just weird. You're floating hands. So we're going to trim the first part of the video. And that's pretty much it, actually. So we just have a freeze frame. Very cool. And you keep going. Of course, the mask could be better, but that's with more time. Overall, it still looks very, very static. Because it's not moving at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Layer, Pre-Compose, Move All Attributes, and this name is fine because we're going to be making lots of these. So now I want to apply an effect called Turbulent Displace. So what Turbulent Displace does is that it warps the image in a very organic way. It's a nice way to make waves and stuff. This is a bit too much for this purpose, so I'm going to lower the amount to about 4 and the size to about 260. And now the other thing I want to happen, okay, crap, I suck at English. Anyway, another thing I want to happen is I want it to kind of change as it goes along. So here we have the evolution tool. What we could do is you can set a keyframe here, another one later, and just move the evolution that way. But that is for noobs. What we're going to do is we're going to alt-click on the evolution stopwatch, and we're going to type an expression. Time times 40 looks pretty good. And what this is going to do, it's as time goes on, it takes the time value and multiplies it by 40, and that would be your evolution value. So this is a pretty neat thing, in that it just moves on its own without any keyframes. Cool. So we're done the first one. Let us move on to another moment in time, and basically we're just gonna rinse and repeat, and then the whole video is done. Very simple. Now if we go back to the original video, we see that, you know, what happens is that your person is actually behind all of the different, you know, clones that he's making. So if you want it to be in front, it actually introduces a whole new difficult step. Actually, well, I guess we are going to be using the Rotobrush tool after all. Now, the reason the subject is behind everybody is because he acts as the background layer. So in order to separate him, we will need another background layer. So we'll duplicate this, and we're going to time freeze frame. And what this is going to do is that it makes it, you know, a very static shot for the background, and we'll rename this background. So now what we're going to do is we will use the Rotobrush tool and just Rotobrush myself out. Now, for those of you who have used this tool before, it's not as great as the Adobe commercial makes it seem. It's actually pretty terrible and tedious. And you have to keep making corrections like this, often every single 2 or 3 frames. But it is much better than using the mask. So the little gray bar here basically means the area in which you want to apply this rotoscope. And so we're going to select everything. And then you're going to click space, and then it's going to calculate what the next frame is going to be. And at the end, you will only have the area that is that's cut out. What you'll often have to do is you have to redefine. You have to tell the program, you know, here, I don't want this. I don't want you to eat my arm. And in this way, it's a really, really frustrating thing to do. And basically, you have to keep doing this until you are completely separated. It's doing a pretty good job of separating you out, but it's not exact. And this keeps happening. Oh, God. But anyway, damn it. This is very, very time consuming, as you can probably already guess. And we've only done this much. But once you're finished the entire thing, you will click freeze, and you will no longer be able to make changes, but you should have a very well separated version of you moving around. Coming back to this, what we would do then is to move this layer above all of the freeze frames, and what's going to happen is that you're going to be in front of all of the clones you'll be creating. Very cool. So we're gonna just go ahead and delete the Rotobrush. And I guess that is it for this video. I mean, this technique could be used for a bunch of things. You could be, you know, waving a blanket around, and then you choose to freeze the blanket at certain points in time, and then in the end use all the different images to paint like a really nice painting. That could be one of the ideas. But as far as this technique goes, this is pretty much it. Have a nice day.